A quick look at that, and then we can move on. A lot of stories from the Electoral Commission this morning. Now, first of all, the NPP is against EC's transmission of results electronically. Let me start with Mr. Titus Glover. Why is this a big issue?
Well, good morning once again to your viewers, especially from the east of Tema. It was this morning that I heard the story on one of the networks that my campaign manager is saying that they are not comfortable about the transmission electronically of the results. I'm here to get a full brief of exactly what he meant. But when I heard from the news, what he's saying is that the CR94 that is before the House now is not telling us as to the electronical transmission of the results.
Right.
And because there has been some bad precedents in Mexico and few other countries, he is not comfortable that the use of electronic transfer will service any good purpose. Why can't we use the authentic results, the big sheets, and the final results that is signed at the collation center, which each party is given a copy, of these results, then we can have the opportunity to use that. But as to what really went into the information, I'm here to get a full brief of what exactly is all about. But we need to be careful. A lot of things happened in the 2012 elections, and for that matter, we need to safeguard things that would not serve a better purpose for all of us. So I think that we all need to support the Electoral Commission. The IPAC is a very powerful platform where all stakeholders can go and make their case. I hear they wanted to make a formal complaint to the Electoral Commission to really state their position so clearly on this subject matter, so that we all together see whether it is feasible or not. I know the Electoral Commission is going to put up boards, collation centers, so that all the results that will be coming, they will have the opportunity to record it on these boards and all that, so that everybody will follow whatever results that is coming from the collation centers and all that. So for me, I just want to hold my fire for now. Get a full brief of exactly what the position is, so that we can be able to make a very strong argument for that. In short, what I said is that it is not the best. Looking at what has happened in Mexico and a few other places, would have the recipe to create a lot of problems here and there.
All right. Let me go to Honorable Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, Comrade Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. Now, Mr. McMenu's concerns are that, one, the NPP is asking that the declaration is made only with the use of the pink sheet. Now, so he's asking if indeed the EC has said that it will use the pink sheet to declare who is the president of Ghana, what is the need for the e-transmission of results? That is Mr. McMenu's worry.
Well, let me say good morning to your cherished listeners, and also use this opportunity to extend my sincerest condolences to the family of Alhaji Amadou, the global hooligan. I say this because his kids are my very good friends, and it's unfortunate that such a fine gentleman, who indeed assisted a lot of people, permeating, all the political parties in this country, and someone who has contributed significantly towards the growth of the economy of this country. Unfortunately, we had to lose him. We can only say, may Allah shower his blessings. May he find favor in the merciful hands of Allah. Let me also use it as an opportunity to extend my greetings to my constituency. I mean, it's important. My good friend said he was in the constituency. I was telling my friend that it's possible he didn't go to the constituency. But once he sits here, he would want his constituency to know how lovely he is. I think that we need to be very mindful about the sanctity of the Electoral Commission. And I have said time and again that the continuous, accusatory rhetorics against the Electoral Commission reduces the value, reduces the standing it has in the eyes of the Ghanaian people. It doesn't matter who the Electoral Commission is. It doesn't matter what the institution is. What is important is that they conduct elections to the satisfactions of everybody. Nothing happened in 2012. Nothing untoward happened. What happened in 2012 was that the NDC won, and the NPP arrogantly refused to admit the NDC won, went to court, and lost the case. So nothing happened. We all need to also understand that we have never had any elections where the pink sheets from polling stations were sent directly, either to collation centers, onward sent physically to the EC, if you like, strong room before elections
So that's
were
the
resolved.
case.
We have never had that. I mean, every year you'd have the polling, the pink sheet sent to the collation centers, and then they fax them.
Right.
So whether electronic, whether faxing, whether post, the NDC would win. There's no question at all about that. You don't win elections at the coalition centers. You don't win elections at the EC headquarters. Neither do you win elections at the Supreme Court. You win elections at the polling stations. And whereas certain political parties are organizing on the ground, some people are on radio, some people are thinking that once again they would go to court. That is not where you win elections. So I find it extremely difficult to fathom why such a suggestion would resurface again when we have never had that. So are they now suggesting that all the polling stations, the pink sheets at the polling stations be sent to the coalition centers and physically sent to the Electoral Commission's headquarters?
That's what Mr. McMahon is suggesting.
It's
that
absolutely
the EC
impractical.
chairperson, who's the returning officer for the presidential elections, should declare the results using only the pink sheets.
And then they then do what with that result? They would then have to send that results to the EC headquarters. How would they send it? Physically with the pink sheets?
If the pink sheet, like you said, if the pink sheets will be sent to via fax or whatever to the EC's office, is there indeed the need for e-transmission of the results?
No, I'm just saying that we have never had what they are suggesting. I'm saying that in every elections, all the pink sheets at the polling stations, when the political party representative signs, the electoral officer signs, they would then send the pink sheets, those sheets, to the coalition centers.
Right.
Then they would then collate the results of all the various polling stations and then wire that information to the Electoral Commission. Now, I get the sense.
Right.
The suggestion is that no, once you send the pink sheets to the polling centers, because elections results are not declared, you know, for the entire national elections at the coalition centers. They are declared by the Electoral Commission.
That's
and
the presidential.
The presidential.
They are declared
because
by,
she is a returning officer.
that's something they are
the
declared by the
presidential.
Electoral Commission. That's what we are. I don't think that we're just looking at yes, the parliamentary.
Okay.
The results are declared there. Now, are they suggesting that when we send the pink sheets to the polling centers and the results are collated there, parliamentary, you know, MPs are declared, or parliamentary elections results are declared, they should physically send the same pink sheets? If not, what we have been doing, they fax. So what's the difference? It simply doesn't make sense to me. Except that probably, like my good friend said, they need to come clearer. Because I simply can't get it. Between sending something through fax and electronic. Fax is electronic. The last time I checked, fax itself is electronic. So what kind of electronic are they suggesting? Except they are saying that no, when you send the pink sheets to the coalition centers, after the results are collated at the coalition centers, we would want you to send the same pink sheets to the Electoral Commission, and I believe that can take us more than a month. I can tell you.
I see.
It can take us more than a month for us to be able to do it. And then we would have indeed be even violating the constitutional provision when the president should be sworn in. I think that we need to understand that you can only win elections at the polling centers. Galvanize your forces. Do your work very well. Mobilize your people to come out and vote. Sell to the people of this country what you have. Tell them what you are able to do or what you'll be able to do. Because the NBC goes to the elections, telling the people of this country what we have done. And also admitting that, yes, there are challenges. Despite those challenges, these are the strides that we have indeed have been able, with the support of the Ghanaian people, to achieve. And we are very optimistic that the signals are very positive. I think that this is the kind of message that we should be sending to the people of this country. But on a more serious note, we all need to protect the integrity of the Electoral Commission. And that's why me, as a young person engaged in this business of politics, even when we're in opposition, I never raise a finger against the Electoral Commission. Because the sanctity of that office ought to be protected. The Electoral Commission serves as an arbiter between all and among political
parties. Even if they are doing something that you think is wrong?
There should be evidence. Okay. There should be evidence. That is why I premise my statement by saying that the accusatory rhetorics that are coming out from responsible political leadership in this country is not something that helps. One, it derails the efforts of the Electoral Commission. It devalues the Electoral Commission. People begin to look at the Electoral Commission in a spectacles that they ought not look at it. And when it reaches a time that a lot more Ghanaians lose confidence in the Electoral Commission, then you can only pave way for chaotic and anarchy. And I think that is one thing all of us must ensure that we protect. Okay. We need to protect it. Okay. You may not be comfortable with members of the Electoral Commission. You may not be. But as long as they do what is supposed to be done, and I agree with my friend that APAC need to do a lot, that there should be consistency and collaborations and discussions. There is nothing wrong with expressing one's opinion on an issue. There is nothing wrong with any political party raising questions about certain things, the things that are not done. But you can't have it all your way. Okay. And in fact, the electoral processes, political parties ought to be building consensus. And when you are building consensus, you lose some and you gain some. The NDC, NPP must all at any point in time make some compromises to ensure that all the political parties and the good people of this country will have a semblance of fair elections, such that no one would have any problem. I really don't think that we want to go through what we went through in the aftermath of the 2012
all right.
election.
I'm grateful. Mr. Kojopuku, let's look at this. Now, this story seemed to suggest that Mr. McMahon is talking about two modes of transmissions. There's an electronic transmission and there's one from the pink sheet. Now, one of the main demands from the 2012 election petition was that the returning officer for the presidential election should only announce the results after receiving the pink sheet, and which the EC says is the right thing. So, Mr. McMahon is asking, if that is the case, what is the e-transmission for? Because we're told the EC has about 5 companies already bidding for that job. Is Mr. Menu worried about something that we should be worried about too?
Well, you can see that there isn't a lot of explanation, and that is my problem with the EC.
Right.
I think when EC means well, I don't think the EC means harm to anybody. But the problem they have is how they communicate their program and the agenda to the citizenry and the political parties. You can see that there's difference of opinion in what is being said. Mr. McMahon is worried about something, which rightfully so. This is Ghana where we hardly get things right, okay? And doing things electronically has its pros and cons. What I suggest is that in any time that EC has a program for the political parties and for the election 2012, it should be explained in detail, so that every single person knows exactly, because you can remember, you see that my brother is saying, and he's not 100% sure, and he's a deputy minister, a parliamentarian, title global parliamentarian, he's not 100% sure of what's happening. It means that the EC...
About the coalition?
No, I mean the e-transmission, what it entails.
We are absolutely sure.
That there are 5 companies bidding for the job?
That was not the question. We are absolutely sure how results are transmitted.
No, we know that, but I'm saying this particular...
No, we are just unsure about the position of the NPP.
No. What I'm saying is that this e-transmission, what exactly...
That Mr. Meno is worried about.
No, we understand that. We understand that. You see, at a point, we all watched the Supreme Court case. So sort of, every Ghanaian who watched it is sort of an expert in electoral. What happens is that the coalition centers gets all the pink sheets from the constituencies.
Right.
And the coalition officer now collates all the polling stations and declare a number for the presidential candidate in every polling station. So that constituency, the presidential candidate will have a number.
Right.
That number is now transmitted to the return officer, who is the EC chairman for the presidential
elections. Right.
Now, that mode of transmission, what is transmitted is not the pink sheet, it is the collation sheet.
I see.
The collation sheet that is transmitted. You understand? So the pink sheet,
not the pink sheet.
No, the pink sheet, from what we are told, is what the officers, the polling station officers get. Everybody signs.
Yeah.
Then they all go to the collation center. Then the collation officer tallies everything onto a collation sheet, and he declares the parliamentary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the presidential.
Not the presidential. But on that collation sheet, there is a number for each presidential candidate, which needs to be tallied by the EC chairman, who's a returning officer for the presidential. So that collation sheet is sent. Now, how that is sent is what I think they are talking about. The e-transmission, whether because in the past it's been done by fax.
Okay, in the past it was done by fax. Now, Mr. McMenu is talking about some e-transmission. So it means that there are two different things.
No. The e-transmission
is the same thing.
Is the same thing. How do you transmit? You see, what basically they are trying to establish is that how do we get information from the various constituencies to the EC chairman? Okay? The only resource announced by the EC chairman is the presidential. So I don't think, like my brother said, we are talking about the parliamentary.
No, I haven't suggested that.
But no, I understand that. Yeah. So we are talking about presidential.
No, you see, can I just...
Come in quickly. I've been tight.
You see, all the political parties have representation at the Electoral Commission stronghold. So any results that is sent, all the political parties will be aware. In Nanton constituency, let's say a polling station like Boaleni, I'm just giving an example. This was what I got. This was what NDC got. So it is not something that is sent to only Electoral Commission, and the political parties are not aware. And in fact, all the political parties also have their coalition where they sit, and branches and constituencies send results. When the EC, the results that is sent to the Electoral Commission, if the NDC or the NPP feels that, look, this doesn't reflect what we have
at the other end.
Remember, Governor Japan and Co tried to do something.
There were issues like that.
And they had problems with Tornado and Co. I'm saying that if you have a problem with it, then you challenge it. So it is not something that is done in secrecy. This thing is suggesting that the pink sheet, that's what
they faxed.
No,
There's a story that is not carried right. I think the story is not carried right. Because the pink sheets are not transmitted, and everybody knows that.
No, maybe the suggestion is that when the results are collated, I'm just guessing.
They should transmit
they
all
should
the
send the pink sheets. And that's why I raised the question that that is the case. It's not possible.
It's not possible, yes. That's
all right. So you come in, Titus come in before we deal with this one.
I want to read a quote from Mr. McMenu here.
Okay.
And it says that Mr. McMenu does not see e-transmission as addressing the critical challenges that the reform process seeks to do. For example, he notes, resource transmission does not in any way control the abuse of the electoral process. It does not address foreign ballots. Is it an after-the-fact process? If there are only 800 voters on the register, how would the system prevent transmission of results cast in excess of that number? Finally, to the NPP, the e-transmission can end up creating confusion where there is discrepancy between the electronically transmitted results and what is contained on the actual pink sheet. And I think that this is what he's trying to address. The e-transmission, in a way, makes the process faster in transmission of results.
Great.
But should there be any discrepancy on the ground, how are you going to rectify that? And I think that is where his difficulty and challenge is all about. And like I'm saying, we need to sit down as an IPAC to see how do we address that. If the e-transmission is the best, how are you going to deal with the discrepancy as and when it comes before you transmit it? If the correction is done and we can be able to transmit it and copies are made available to all political parties, I don't have a problem. Look, let me tell you, Mutala, don't tickle yourself and laugh. I can tell you, you can make all the goodies and all your things that you're doing. I'm telling you, this election, nobody says that elections are won at the EC headquarters.
That's what your party believes in.
Is that what thing?
They are won at the Supreme Court.
Because the Supreme Court
on the streets.
Please.
Comrade, please allow me. Okay.
You've talked plenty, so please. We all know they are won at the polling station. That is where the Supreme Court is now. So that we make sure that we police every ballot that comes. So nobody is going to take chances at all. Agents that we are sending to the police station are going to be agents who are going to do what is right to the people in.
And that's very simple. Just making sure the figures are inputted. It's not a battle.
This country is running. Your performance is there for all Ghanaians to see.
How? That I'm telling you. Schools, building hospitals.
Every government builds schools.
How many?
Every government builds.
You didn't build a single secondary school.
Provides water.
8 years.
Comrade, Can you allow him?
It's a vital elephant.
You allow Ghanaians to make that decision.
Yes.
You go on.
It's a waste of resource.
Oh, I see.
Go on.
You could have used that to expand the old schools.
Wow.
You understand? So don't think that Ghanaians are happy of what you are doing. You have the money, you have all resources, you have the security, but we have the people. And I can tell you, I'm telling you.
We are more representative.
John Mama and the NDC you have to lose this election.
Titus, can you stay focused on this? Let's wrap up on this
one. What
one.
I'm saying is that Mr. Peter McMahon has made his point. And I'm sure there is a platform that deals with electoral matters. That is the IPAC. How are we going to address these things? These are his challenge. These are his difficulty. A typical example where for about 2 weeks in the transmission of resources, is Ecuador. There was a hold-up. You can imagine the tension that will be happening in the country at that time. So if we are using electronic transfer and for days, results are not trickling in, what is going to happen? Let us sit down and look at the wisdom of what Mr. McMahon is saying. You may disagree with him. You understand? But when we all sit down as stakeholders to look at the issues that he has brought up and whether it is proper and feasible, why not? We will buy into it. If we think that we cannot, we will go back again and look at the whole matter and deal with it.
My time, they took my time a little bit. So can I come back and before something that I would want to suggest is this. You see, when election is done, in the night, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 p.m., everybody is so much in a hurry looking for results and all that. Can I suggest something? And since I have 2 big parliamentarians with me, why don't we have a system whereby on the day of election, everybody concentrates on the polling station's work? Then after pink sheets have been signed and everybody is happy with the counting and the ballot box are sealed, everybody goes home. And collation is done the following morning. That is something I think we should take into as a nation. That it is because that when election is done on the election day, we call it, we count. No, we count at the, you see, after counting at the polling stations and the boxes are sealed and pink sheets are signed and everybody takes their copy. Going to that collation center at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. and waiting for the NPC. No. Who are you waiting for? No, we're saying that. No, what I'm saying is that it's a suggestion, my brother. See, what I'm saying is no. What I'm saying is that Titus. What will happen during the night? What will happen at night?
We should all keep the vigil and count it.
No, but we've counted. We finished counting.
We are even going to police the special voting. I'm telling you. The special voting that is not in the police armories. We are going to police it very well.
Okay,
that is why we are hearing they want to do magic.
No, there's no magic. Chato, please don't make allegations.
Can I make this? Okay. Honestly, I never knew that the polling agents NPP sent to polling stations in 2012 were absolutely ramshackle. They were moribunds. He is making that statement on this platform that they are going to send.
He only sent this time. They are sending.
Yeah, he said that they are going to. Yes, it means that those they sent were not competent. Clearly, and 2, what is he talking about? What is Mr. McMahon talking about? All the political parties before the elections, the voter register is made available to every single political party. So every single political party will be well aware how many people have registered in every single polling station. So at the end of the day, when results are declared, parliamentary results are declared at the polling stations, then collation is done at the collation center. Then parliamentary elections are declared. Of course, like he said, what every presidential candidate gets would have been declared there, would have been made known. That this constituency, this is what the presidential, this is what political party A got, this is what political party B got. Now, if they transmit that electronically or by air or by wind or by sea or whatever, and it doesn't reflect what all the political parties have as the number of people registered to vote in any polling station, you have the opportunity. And I'm saying that they attempted that. They who are now appointed
in the case of
2008, they attempted that.
Even in 2012, Dr. Farajan was asked to hold on.
Yes,
with the
I'm saying that if they send the results and you know that in his constituency, Tema East, a particular polling station, no, the total voter register the register that is given to all the political parties is 500. We have 600 voting for NPP and we have 400 voting for NDC. NDC can raise concerns. NDC can say, look, it doesn't reflect what we have there. And I'm saying that it's simple. So I simply can't get it. And he himself admitted that probably he needs to get more briefing. We need to be more informed. What is it? My understanding, and let me admit, there's a guesswork. My understanding about what is being said there is about the fact that no, send pink sheets, not only to the coalition centers, but to EC. It simply doesn't change anything. Whatever results.
How are they going to do that?
Well,
that is the point.
How are they going to do that?
That is the point.
Okay, we'll get more information on that.
We need to get more information.
We'll get more information on that.
That will be difficult to do.
Right. I'm grateful for that. Now,